welcome back to By Myself But Not Alone. This is episode 30, Lubbock, Texas. At the end of the last episode, we hit a Walmart so I can get my old El Paso taco seasoning. We hit a gas station across the street to fill up the tank and our coffee cups, and we were on the road to Lubbock. The trip was going to be a nice little 350-mile drive that should have taken about 5.5 hours, but it ended up taking a little longer because Michelle likes looking for rocks, and I just like looking. I'll stand in a place I've never been for hours and just look around at the scenery. We didn't make any stops that took that long, but every so often we'd see something that was really cool and we'd just pull on in and take a look around. The route we used took us through the southeast corner of New Mexico, and when we got back into Texas, we had about an hour and a half and we were in Lubbock. The landscape between New Mexico and that part of Texas really didn't change at all, and if it weren't for the signs, I wouldn't have known we were in two states. It ended up taking us a couple hours longer than it would have if we wouldn't have screwed around, and somewhere in there we lost an hour due to a time zone change, but we made it to Lubbock in relatively decent time. And again, I really love that drive. Everything out there is so wide open. So if you've never been to that part of the country, I suggest you hop in your car and take a road trip. We booked our hotel on the ride, and we found out that although there are a lot of hotels in Lubbock, quite a few of them are on the higher end. We ended up waiting too long. Pretty much all the hotels in town were booked up, and the only thing we're left were a couple hotels had those fancy two-room deals, which turned out to be a first for me. I'd never stayed in anything like that before. I mean, it was really nice, don't get me wrong, but when it comes to hotels, it's all about function for me. You can plate everything on the inside with gold, but at the end of the day, it's still nothing more than a bed and a bathroom. So although excess is good sometimes, when it comes to hotels, I'd prefer to find a nice little dump and spend the money on other things. And Michelle completely agrees, 100%, and that's one of the reasons we get along so well. We lucked out this time though. Our friend Svet was flying in for the show and then flying out the next day, and because it was a last-minute decision, he hadn't booked a hotel room yet. So we asked him if he'd like to take the pull-out couch in the other room. Now, we had quite a few opportunities over the course of the tour to share rooms, you know, do the old pile in 4, 5, 6 people, save that money, get that bottom line way down. But we'd always declined because in such small quarters, in order to really get good rest, it seems that anything more than 2 people is just too much going on. It can get really distracting. So we had always declined those offers. But in this case, we had the door between the rooms. It was actually like 2 hotel rooms next to each other. So Svet was more than happy with the opportunity. We told him to give us a call when his plane landed and we'd run out and pick him up. It was a late flight, so we just planned on getting something to eat and then heading down to the pre-party where we'd hang out until he called. The party was at a place called Downtown Social LBK, and it was put together by the guys in To Live Is to DFW. That's a local Met Club chapter in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. They had a really big group that got together to make the trip to Lubbock, and they did a great job organizing the party. We didn't have any problems finding the place, and when we got inside, I was really impressed to see how many people were there. I mean, there were a lot of people there. It was a big party. The guy at the door gave us each one of those little, you know, like a carnival ride ticket where you get one and one goes in the raffle bin. So I handed mine to Michelle in hopes that Lady Luck would shine on her. We weren't there 5 minutes when they did their first drawing and they pulled out one of our numbers. So Michelle went up to claim the prize. When she came back, she tossed me a shirt and said, XL is going to fit you a little better than it fits me. The shirt was a reproduction of the classic shirt from when Metallica toured with Raven in 1983 on their Kill 'Em All for One tour. It's a really cool shirt. That was a great way to start the night, and it only got better. And by better, I mean we got cookies. I've been talking to our friends Wally and Mindy from Fort Worth, and they introduced me to Justin Gracia. He was there with some of the guys from the RGV Remains. That's a local chapter down in the Rio Grande Valley, which is the southernmost part of Texas. So those guys had made quite a trip. I believe Justin said it took them 8 or 9 hours to get there. So anyway, when I say we got cookies, I don't just mean cookies. I mean we got Metallica cookies. Justin's wife Luana had made bunches of them. There were 3 really cool designs. There was a square one with the Ninja Star design on it. There was a round one with the 5th member logo on it. And my favorite was the Lubbock City Pick. It was like the back of the Lubbock City Pick with the date and everything. I certainly hadn't expected anything like that, and I just want to say thank you, Justin and Miss Luana. You did an incredible job on the cookies. I can't wait to see you guys again and maybe get some more of those cookies. I was really happy to see our friend Gina Brock walk through the door. You'll get to meet her in the interview section. I had met Gina and her daughter Kate in Las Vegas, and I knew they lived in Lubbock. I was really hoping to catch them. Wasn't sure if I'd see them at the pre-party or at the show. I hope to see him at both, and there she was. Gina's an old school diehard fan from the 80s who got to see Metallica when Cliff was still with us. She is quite an interesting character, and again, I was really happy to see her that night. I headed out back to the smoking patio, and our friend Alan Peters had the same idea, and that's where I ran into him. I had met Alan a few times along the road, but I had never really gotten a chance to talk to him very much because each time we ran into each other, one or the other was heading somewhere. Between the fourth and fifth legs, one of us sent the other an invite on Facebook. I don't remember who sent the invite, but we had so many mutual friends. I creeped on his page a little bit like I do every time somebody adds me, and I saw that he was a big fan of Hunter S. Thompson, and I'm a huge fan of Hunter S. Thompson, and for that reason, I shot him a quick message and introduced myself. That little message led to a 3 or 4 hour conversation, and Alan was a really interesting character. I saw that he was a member of the Black Ticket Facebook group, so at the end of the conversation, I told him that I had a patch to give him, and I said, I'll catch you, down the line. He said it'd be a Lubbock, and I said, well, I'll hook you up with a patch then. I can't really remember how I figured this out, but I think I saw a response to someone's post where Alan stated that he really regretted not getting a black ticket. It was something like that, but I was really dreading the conversation where I'd have to tell Alan that I couldn't give him a black ticket patch if he didn't have a black ticket. I really thought he had one. It was completely my fault. I got caught off guard a little bit, but before that, every single time that I gave someone a patch, I made damn sure they had a black ticket. When I saw him at the party, I couldn't even think of a smooth way to back out of that one. So I just looked at him and said, man, I really apologize for what I'm about to have to say. I don't know how to tell you this. And then I went ahead and told him what happened. He listened to everything I had to say, and his response was, after we talked about that, I thought about it, and I realized that you thought I had a black ticket. So would you believe me if I told you I already pictured having this conversation? I thanked him for understanding, but I felt bad the way that happened, and I said, I could just slide you one, and don't tell anybody, but out of respect for what this patch represents, and out of respect for the other black ticket holders, I just don't think that would be right. I really liked his response. He looked right at me and said, hell no, it wouldn't be right. So let's just forget this ever happened. Let's go inside and enjoy this party. And that's what we did. Now, I could go on for a very long time if I continue calling people out by name and walking you through everything I remember from that night. So I'm going to stop right here. But I do want to say it was an incredibly memorable evening where I got to see a lot of people that I already knew, and I got to meet even more very cool people that I hadn't met until that night. That was an awesome party. Heading into the party, I decided that I was going to go in without my camera. I was going to give my little project a break and just enjoy the evening. But afterwards, I really regretted doing that because I met so many cool people. The next day before the show, I mentioned that to Andy. He's a member of To Live Is to DFW. And he said, well, just ask V. She took tons of pictures. She'll be happy to help you. So when I ran into Miss V, I told her what had happened, and she said, hey, no problem. Just whenever it's time to work on the episode, shoot me a message, and I'll send you everything from the party, and then if I get anything today at the show, I'll send you those too. And here we are over 2 years later. She didn't forget. As soon as I shot her that message, my inbox was full of everything she got from the party and from the show. When I started flipping through the pictures and I saw what she had to offer, I decided I wanted to use just about all the pre-party shots, and then any of the shots at the end of the video of the band, those came from V2. So she gets credit for all that. Again, I want to say thanks. She really saved me on this one. The only problem with being the one that's taking all the pictures is there are no pictures of you, so we don't have any pictures of Miss V. There was one really good one in there, but when I put it in the editing program, it came out all pixelated. So out of all the pictures she gave me, she's not in any of them. So I'm going to get her back. Miss V, next time I see you, wear your smile because I'm going to take quite a few pictures of you. I'm going to say it one more time. Thanks for all your help. So after a few hours, Svet called us. He said he was at the airport. He told us he had met a very beautiful blonde lady from Australia, and he wanted to know if we could give her a ride to her hotel. We knew right away that it must be our friend Claire, and it was. They had shared the flight to Lubbock from New York, I believe it was. But anyway, we headed on out, picked them up. We took Claire to her hotel. We headed back to ours. It didn't take long for any of us to fall asleep, and the next morning came way too soon. Michelle and Svet were up bright and early, ready to go, but I was still recovering from the trip to El Paso. McDonald's was the only thing I could think of, but lucky for me, our fancy room had a coffee pot in the little kitchen area, and they had coffee waiting for me when I woke up. We were really close to the arena, so I ran them down and dumped them off so they could get a good place in line. I headed back to the hotel, got ready, and I was I was back at the arena in about an hour. The United Supermarkets Arena is on the campus of Texas Tech University and is the home of the Texas Tech Red Raiders men's and women's basketball teams and the Texas Tech Red Raiders women's volleyball team. The architectural design of this arena is fabulous. It's the most unique arena that I think I've ever been in, and it really looked to me like an arena that you would see in Texas. And if you watch the video at the end, you'll see what I'm talking about. When I got there, I got parked, I headed up to the line, I got busy doing my thing. I got to throw my questions at a lot of very cool people. I had a great time doing it. And when I sat down to edit the video together, I really hadn't realized how many people I had actually talked to that day. I'm thankful for everyone who gives me their time and participates in the project. So there's absolutely no way that I'm gonna let any of this footage go to waste. I'm just warning you that the Lubbock interview section is a little longer than normal. I did so much talking that day, before I knew it, they were letting us in, and it wasn't much longer after that Jim and Joe were starting the show with their lighted up pre-party. I remained impressed that they were still in the groove that they found early in the tour. Everyone there really seemed to appreciate them. Pretty soon the sold out crowd of over 14,600 people heard those angels singing, and it was on. This would be Metallica's 4th show in Lubbock. It had been 15 years since the last time, so the crowd was long overdue. There was a powerful level of intensity there that night, and that energy just never gets old. The set list had the staples and then 4 key rotations. Halo of Fire, Holier Than Thou, Motor Breath, and Blackened were out, replaced by Ride the Lightning, Hit the Lights, and Battery for the first encore. But the song of the night for me and many other people in Lubbock was Here Comes Revenge. It was the first time that the song's ever been played live, but I got an added excitement on top of that. I was standing right behind Brian Robertson. You may remember the guy who lost his black ticket in Boise. Well, as soon as they finished For Whom the Bell Tolls, James started talking about playing a new song, and Brian just started yelling, "Revenge, revenge, revenge." And when we heard the opening notes, he went nuts. That was pretty damn exciting, and I'm not sure how he knew it was coming. Maybe he just had a feeling, but it was pretty cool having such an up-close and personal introduction the first time that song was ever played live. I'm never going to forget that one, Brian, but something else I'm never going to forget is watching Brian and his road dog, Brandon Murray from Utah, doing their thing. And the reason I say doing their thing is I saw them do this all along the tour, not just at this show. They'd secure a rail spot using the early entry that the black ticket provided, and what they would do is they'd ask random people behind them if they'd like to come up to the rail, take their spot for a couple songs. That's incredibly selfless, and it's a way to make a lot of people happy by giving them the opportunity to have that rare lifetime experience of front row Metallica right there on the rail. So Brian and Brandon, I just want to say I saw you do that quite a few times, and every time I saw it, it was watching true greatness. You guys rock. Brandon even talked me into taking a song that night, and it happened to be Nothing Else Matters. Now, I've done the rail quite a few times in the past, but their position was dead center, lined up with the microphone, and he just happened to walk to that microphone for that song that night. So there in Lubbock, I had the best perspective I've ever had for that song, and I can't imagine how it could be any better. He was 10 feet away, dead center. Whether you love that song or don't love that song, you must give it its credit due. Now, I know the 80s only loyalist crowd won't agree with me on this. I'm not one of them. In my opinion, the song Nothing Else Matters is one of the greatest, most legendary songs this band has ever written. To experience it in that perspective that night is something I'm never going to forget. Something else I want to mention, a couple months after the tour was over, I received a big manila envelope in the mail. When I opened it up, it was this picture. It's Robert from LA, Brett from Minnesota, me, Brian, and Brandon. Brandon printed off a couple 8x10 copies and he sent me one, and I just want to say, boy, that picture made my day, Brandon. Thanks for thinking of me, and thanks for sending that. Pick time rolled around. I got my 2 Lubbocks and an extra one. Right after the show, we ran into Gina and her daughter Kate, and if anybody deserved a pick, it was them. They weren't on the floor. They were just a little behind us. But anyway, I gave Gina my extra one, and then the guy in the orange hat, that's Brett from Minnesota. He gave me another one to give Kate one, so they each had one. That worked out well. We said goodnight, and everybody headed for the door. By this time, I was completely exhausted. Michelle was kind of directing us. We were trying to find the group picture. They weren't exactly sure where it was. They had heard it up on the 3rd floor. So I was so dead tired. I told her I was going to have to pass on this one. I said, I'll meet you guys at the car. I'm just not in the condition to be walking fast and climbing stairs if it comes to that. So again, I'll meet you guys out in the car. As it turned out, when I saw the picture, I kind of felt like I missed something. That was just a great group photo. I mean, all the group photos are great, but that one was like really great. They finally made it out to the car. We headed back to the hotel. We all crashed quickly because we had a big day ahead of us. Svet had a flight to New York, and then he had to drive home from New York to Connecticut. And Michelle and I had another 500-plus mile trip to Wichita. I want to say thanks to the guys in Tolivas to DFW for hosting such an awesome pre-party. You really did a good job. Justin and Miss Luana, thanks again for those Metallica cookies. That was really quite the treat. Miss V, I can't thank you enough for all the help you gave me with the photos from the show and from the pre-party. I'd like to thank the crowd in Lubbock as a whole. The energy and the intensity that you brought really made it the place to be that night. The El Paso crowd is a hard act to follow, and you guys stood up to the test and rocked that joint. Finally, I'd like to say, as always, thank you for watching. If you like what we have going on here, we would appreciate it greatly if you consider subscribing to the channel. Give us a like, a dislike, whatever the case may be. Leave us a comment. Let us know how we're doing. Next stop, Wichita, Kansas. We'll see you there. Until then, rock on. So who are you and where are you from?
Name's John Hart. I am from Dallas.
My name is Andy Castle. I'm from Dallas, Texas, and I'm also the Vice President of the Dallas-Fort Worth Fan Club, official chapter of the fan club in Dallas-Fort Worth.
What's the official name?
Tolivas the DFW.
There we go.
Yeah.
A lot of the guys out here?
Yeah, we brought about 30, we believe, from the area. Yeah, so big crew.
Well, I'm going to say this. I just told you I'm not going to talk on your interview. The guys from Texas is like one of the coolest groups I've ever met.
Oh, thank you.
That's awesome.
We try to be hospitable. Edgar, from Mexico. I'm going to interpret for Agustin. ¿De dónde eres?
Soy de Argentina.
¿Y tu nombre es?
Agustín, de Chapter Lords of Summer.
So Argentina, Lords of Summer, that's where he's coming from.
My name is Alejandro Hernandez. I am originally from Los Angeles, California, but I moved to New Mexico. Yeah, I've been living there for about a year now.
Emily from Yorkshire in England.
My name's Kevin Dooley. I'm from England as well, Yorkshire, and this is my daughter Emily.
My name is Jerry Ruiz, or Reese. I'm 47 years old, born and raised in El Paso, Texas, West Texas. I grew up there. I grew up in the hood, from the streets. I worked really hard, and I've gotten myself to a place where it's a place of respect, and business-wise, we're doing good. The family is great. # blessed. There you go.
There you go. How about Met Club? What's your handle?
Jedi Jerry.
All right.
I've always been a huge Star Wars fan, so I know it's not what it used to be, but Star Wars still rules, you know?
Hey, I'm not going to argue with that on that one.
My name's Alex Bond from San Jose, California, but originally from the East Coast, Miami and Boston.
My name is Gina Brock, and I am a 35-year Metallica fan from Lubbock, Texas.
How long have you guys been Metallica fans?
Oh man, probably since I was about 13, 14.
How old are you now?
So that would be 17, 18 years now.
It would be since 2003, so that'd be 16 years.
Have you seen them before live?
Oh yeah, this is my 10th show. This is my 10th show.
Okay.
Yeah.
Tonight will be number 16.
Let's see your black ticket. Can I zoom in on your black ticket?
Yes, of course.
You're legendary with your. You're the most famous black ticket photo.
Do you want me to take it out?
Pull it out if you don't mind.
Yeah.
Because I've heard this. I always tell you that, but everybody says
That's why I brought it. Oh, yeah.
There you go.
Look at that crazy guy. All right, cool.
¿Qué tanto tiempo ha sido fan de Metallica? Desde que tenía 6 años.
Since he was 6.
Yo tocaba el violín.
He used to play violin.
Y mi viejo me compró el DVD de Metallica con la Sinfónica.
Oh, God.
Por la Sinfónica más que por Metallica.
His dad bought him the DVD, the S&M's DVD.
All right.
Y así lo puse, dejé el violín y agarré la guitarra.
So once he started playing it and saw the DVD, he left the violin and grabbed a guitar.
Y ahí nunca más.
After that, he just stayed with Metallica.
It was over.
It was over. ¿Has visto Metallica antes?
La primera vez en Buenos Aires, en River, el 22 de enero de 2010.
First time was River Plate, Argentina, January 10th.
Después en La Plata, Argentina también.
La Plata, Argentina.
En marzo, las 2 fechas que hicieron. Y
¿Qué año?
2014.
2014 was the first year.
Y la última fue en el Lollapalooza, en el 2017. Last time was Lollapalooza 2017.
Okay.
And,
I've been a Metallica fan. I'm sorry, for like the past about 8 years now.
Okay.
I've been a fan for the past 8 years. I'm 26. I started when I was around 18, 17, around there.
Alrighty. Have you seen them before live?
Yes, sir. I've seen them 3 times prior to this. I've seen them 2 times in Mexico City when they played the Arsenal Complete, and I've seen them my very first time when I saw them play in Indio, California, when it was the Big Four.
I've been a Metallica fan since the early 80s, although I never went to the concerts, and then my daughter grew up listening to my music, and now she's the big Metallica fan.
Alrighty.
Yeah, always.
Your whole life.
Yeah.
And I always say when that's the story, I say, good parents raise good kids. So there we go. Have you seen them live before?
Yeah, twice before, and then this is our 3rd time. Well, my 3rd time. And then we've seen him in Manchester as well.
Tell them first time where you went.
Oh yeah, I saw them in Minnesota the first time.
I was going to ask you if you've been in the States
On the
and seen
16th
them.
birthday in Minneapolis.
Oh, that's a heck of a gift.
Yeah.
Excellent. And you've seen them.
I've seen them once in Manchester and here today. So
1986. Metallica opened for Ozzy Osbourne, El Paso, Texas. And you know what? We blew the hell out of Ozzy out of the stage, you know.
Yep.
Ozzy would never be the same. Still a great guy, great rock star. But, man, you cannot compare it to Metallica.
Yep.
This is the only group in the world I would travel for. Absolutely.
Yep.
No matter what.
So 86 was your first show. That I saw the same tour.
86?
Yes.
And then a couple of years later, Justice for All or Damaged Justice or something.
Yeah.
And it was an amazing show.
Yep.
Where they have the statue of Lady Justice just kind of break apart and fall down. I remember I was with a bunch of kids from high school. I was high as hell. Somewhere along the way, I got separated from them, and I ended up by myself. Some 16-year-old kid with long hair, just headbanging by myself. Nobody knew what the hell I was doing. You know what? That's just where I started, you know.
There you
and that
go.
Metallica philosophy will never leave me.
I didn't mean to talk over you. Who was your opening act? We saw Queensryche.
I want to say for that one, it was Queensryche, yes.
Yeah, and I don't know, you probably agree with this. Everybody loved Queensryche, but
Queensryche was awesome.
But nobody cared that night because we
No.
were Metallica.
Everybody went to a restroom, got ready to headbang for Metallica, you know.
Gotcha.
You know, it was a different age, and I don't know if it could ever be replicated. You know?
Yeah, but what do you think about what's going on here? I mean, it's still going on.
Metallica is so polished. Just 2 nights ago, just like yourself, we saw them in El Paso, and they used to be so raw and just crazy energy. Now they're a little more polished. Now they're a little more grown up, just like you and me. They're a lot more precise. It's a great show, that's for sure.
How long have you been a Metallica fan?
Since '93.
Have you seen Metallica before?
Oh yeah. Today's gonna be my 40th show.
Right on. Congrats on that.
Counting Giants nights, so I'm cheating. But
No, that's not cheating. That's just showing it. How long have you been a Metallica fan? You said 35 years. Have you seen them live before?
I have, and I think this will be time 26.
Alrighty.
Yes.
What was the first one?
The first one was at the Bronco Bowl in Dallas, Texas, and they were live with Cliff Burton on the Damage Incorporated tour.
Oh man, old school.
I know.
Can you narrow it down to one favorite song? Is that possible?
For me, it's Ride the Lightning.
Right on.
Oh, yeah.
I know it's one of the popular ones, but it's one. You know, every time I heard that song, Lars doing the double bass and all that, it just hooked me in, man. That was good.
Good answer. How about favorite album?
Ride the Lightning.
And mine's Justice. It was always the craziest album to me. I know it's kind of like picking between children, but
Right.
Justice is my favorite. Yeah.
It's a trick question.
Yeah,
Those are good
exactly,
answers. Okay, how about, some people say this is a strange question. Most people don't. Do you have a favorite band member? Past or present?
I would probably say James, just because of the riffs and the lyrics are what I love the most. So,
For me, it's Lars, the drummer. He's always felt like the nicest person in the world, and just lives and breathes Metallica, and you can tell he's doing it for the fans. So I've always appreciated that.
You know, come on, man. What about Napster? All right, yeah, I laugh with you.
Hey,
at
Lars
that.
was right about Napster in the
He
end.
was.
So.
And who got paid over that? Napster.
Right,
You can buy
exactly,
their
yeah.
album. Can you narrow it down to one favorite song?
Pues, puede ser, Tu canción favorita. That's hard, man.
Tell him it's a trick question.
Dyer's Eve.
Oh, you had a quick answer. How about favorite album?
Justice.
Favorite band member, past or present?
Miembro de la banda. ¿Cuál es tu favorito? James, porque toco también la guitarra y por lo general en las bandas que toqué soy la guitarra rítmica. O sea, como que tengo un conecte con él. Claro. James, because he plays guitar and he plays guitar as well, and both sides play rhythm guitar, and that's where they can connect.
More to say, it would be an impossible song, but if I was to pick the one song that made me focus into the band and it changed my life for the good, it will probably be Whiplash. It gave me that adrenaline of just, you can do whatever you want as long as you put the full energy to it. You can just put the full 110%, put that song on blast, and anything can be done, man. Anything.
That's an excellent answer.
Anything, man.
Right on. How about favorite album?
Kill 'Em All. Kill 'Em All. It's sad to say because I have the Injustice for All album tattooed to my back, and right underneath it I have half of the Master of Puppets.
Wow.
But my favorite album has to be Kill 'Em All.
All right. How about, do you have a favorite band member, past or present?
If I can be completely honest, my favorite band member of all time from this band, past and present till this day, it has been Kirk Hammett. Kirk Hammett. The Ripper, he just brings melody into the, he brings the melody out into the heavy music. Like, for example, you don't need lyrics, you can just put on Orion. You put on Orion and you listen to that melody, man. Oh, it's beautiful. Beautiful, 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 beautiful music.
Okay, these might be tricky questions. Can you narrow it down to one favorite song? Is that possible? Oh, didn't even have to think about that.
No. My favourite song, actually, they never play it, and it's Judas Kiss.
Ooh,
I like that.
That's a different one. I don't get that. I don't think I've heard that one yet with the interviews. How about favorite album?
Master of Puppets.
Mine is Kill 'Em All, I think.
Don't you like Justice?
I like them all. I'm just
Yeah, these are trick questions.
Yeah, it is, yeah. And Justice for All's good.
And I always have to interject when someone says Master of Puppets. That, in my opinion, that's the perfect album. That's the home run. They're all awesome.
Yeah.
Though. How about favorite band member, past or present? Didn't even have to think. What'd you say?
No, James.
Yeah, she wants to marry him. My favourite used to be James until I saw them live, and now it's Kirk. I just think he's so cool.
Yeah.
And Cliff. Love Cliff.
Absolutely. There's a song that, it was probably one of the first Metallica songs I heard. It was right between Kill 'Em All and Ride the Lightning. I heard the song Escape, and it talked to me. It talked to me about my teenage angst and everything I was going through, all the expectations people place on you and stuff. People expect a whole lot of you, and sometimes it's hard to follow up to that promise. But Escape just talked to me, and even today in my life, at 47 years old, it still talks to me, and it still gives me, a good basis for our philosophy.
How about favorite album?
Favorite album? Gotta go Kill 'Em All. So raw, so intense. Ride the Lightning, close second.
Alrighty, how about favorite band member, past or present?
It's hard to argue with Cliff, man. I mean, come on. Cliff was awesome. He gave him a specific identity they didn't have before. So,
Can you narrow it down to a favorite song?
No. I can do maybe favorite song on album if I'm lucky, but even that would be hard.
Okay.
That's
a good answer.
Fuck, a favorite song, man. I always love Merciful Fate just because it's my favorite cover. It's 11 minutes long. It's evil as fuck. But for an album song, I don't think I could just pick one. I think that would be doing a disservice.
All right. How about favorite album?
Yes, Ride the Lightning right now. Ride and Master switch back and forth for me. But I'd go Ride, Master, and Hardwired. I absolutely love Hardwired.
Favorite band member, past or present?
Kirk. I'm a huge Kirk fan. I kind of always grew up as a kid that was into like comic books, Dungeons and Dragons, computers, stuff like that. And I kind of always, felt Kirk, was like the nerd member of
Okay.
Metallica, and I kind of just, felt that, gravitated toward it. And it was cool to see a dude that could like those things I liked, but at the same end, he was hardcore. He could fucking shred on the guitar. He could party like a fucking animal. He was in one of the biggest bands in the world, but still, he liked comic books. He liked Dungeons and Dragons and shit. It was cool.
Do you have a favorite song?
That would have to be a gun to my head type thing, but if you had a gun to my head, it would be Quiplash all the way, because it says it all. We'll never stop, we'll never quit, because we're Metallica.
Favorite album? That was a good answer.
That would have to be a gun to the head too. That would Master of Puppets, maybe.
Yes. The perfect album. But they're all good.
I know.
Favorite band member, past or present?
Oh, always and forever, James Hetfield, since 1984.
You got a look in your eye that says, I love you, James.
I do.
What do you think about Brewer opening up the show?
It's been awesome. He's funny. He comes out and the way he interacts with the crowd, it's been great. It's been awesome.
What did you think before you saw him the first time?
I thought it was maybe going to be a little weird having a comedian open up, but it turned out to be great. I was kind of hoping for maybe a band, but honestly, it's been awesome.
Yeah, I've liked Brewer opening up. I'm such a big Metallica fan. Whenever I go and see them live, anytime an opening band comes out, I'm like, just get off the stage so Metallica can come on. So it's kind of nice having a change up for a person to come out, tell some jokes, get the crowd hyped up, and everybody just get ready to see the best band of all time rock out.
How about Joe? What do you think about Joe? That's just part of the show.
It's been good. He's good about interacting with the crowd too. You can just walk up there and he hangs out, talks with you and everything, and it's been great.
And every show, I don't know if you've noticed, he wears this shirt. It's a bar in Dallas called Three Links. So he is always representing our hometown.
All right, so
look
big
for it
shout
tonight.
out. Big shout out to Joe.
Seguramente no entienda, así que, o sea, me hubiera gustado poner en Europa toca Ghost, o sea, me hubiera gustado lo de eso. So he says that it may be a little bit boring for him because he doesn't speak that much English, so he may not be able to get the
Well, I've talked to quite a few guys from other countries that and they don't speak English, and they say the same thing. I was expecting that almost, and that makes sense.
Can't get it, and
yeah.
Whereas other bands like Ghost that is opening, he can, he doesn't need to understand that. He just needs to feel it.
Yeah, music is the universal language. Yeah. Yes, I get it. I had to ask you anyway.
Yeah.
What do you guys think about Jim Brewer opening up the show?
That's amazing.
You like it?
Yeah, I love Jim Brewer.
Okay.
Yeah, I can't say I know Jim Brewer.
Okay, well, you might recognize him when you see him.
Yeah.
Big Saturday Night Live guy.
I would rather have a local band.
Okay, even after having seen it, that's
Yes,
still
I would rather have a local band that nobody knows about. Maybe give them a chance.
What do you think about Brewer opening up the show?
Love it, man. He's great. It's a great time, laughing. A great way to start the show. Kind of get hyped up by him and just hear all those old stories and just enjoy fucking the time with your friends on the rail, laughing your ass off before a hardcore show.
Were you a fan before?
Of Brewer? Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, man. Loved him on SNL. Goat Boy. Fucking Half Baked. One of the greatest movies of all fucking time.
So what do you think about his partner Joe?
Joe's great. Sib is awesome. I'm actually kind of bummed I've missed his shows every time because I usually fly in the day of a show.
Yeah.
And Sib has his show the night before, and I always hear how fun and awesome they are, and I just haven't been able to make one yet.
Yeah, I've been at one, and it was great.
Right on.
So yeah.
I think he's a pretty funny guy.
But comedy for metal, the whole concept.
Oh, I like that. But I could go all the time with just Metallica. But if we have to have something, Jim Brewer's not so bad.
We come from all walks of life as Metallica fans. What do you guys do for a living?
I'm a physical therapist.
And I'm in banking. So we're the weird metalheads that have interesting careers. Right. We don't fit in with our careers with the music we like.
Do you have one specific person in your life that you credit with turning you on to the band in the first place? Or how did you come about being a Metallica fan?
I get probably my brother. I just remember he had the Black album, and then through that a couple of friends had Ride the Lightning, so went from Black album, Ride the Lightning, and then he got the S&M album, and so it just all downhill from there.
Older brother, obviously.
Yeah, older brother.
Yeah.
Mine's very easy because it's this lovely man right here.
Oh, man.
We met in high school, and I was into some of the harder rock stuff at the time, punk, Blink-182, that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And he was like, oh, you need to listen to Metallica. And I'm like, well, that's what all the crazy hardcore fans listen to. The only thing I knew about him was Enter Sandman and all the Napster stuff, as you mentioned. But we were hanging out one day, and he played me Ride the Lightning and S&M, and it just was like one of those light bulb moments, like the gates of heaven to open, and then ever since then I was hooked.
So holding them off, was that in the internal rebellion? Some guys telling me, check it out.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah.
No big. I don't want to go too deep on that.
Right. Yeah.
But if you were listening to cool music to begin with, I was just kind of wondering.
Yeah. Like I said, I like Blink-182 and Linkin Park, that type of stuff. I guess I always felt Metallica, like I said, was for the crazy people.
Okay.
And that wasn't, I hate to say, it wasn't my crowd. I definitely had the wrong impression of those type of fans.
Gotcha.
So now I'm one of them. So
shout out to your boy here. Yeah. That's a good friend.
Yeah, he is.
We come from all walks of life as Metallica fans. What do you do for a living?
Todos hacemos algo diferente. Para saber ¿tú a qué te dedicas? Yo trabajo en una distribuidora de fiambres. Fiambres, ¿qué son fiambres? Jamón, queso. Oh, okay. So he works on a factory, that serves like ham and things like cold meats.
How did you come about being a Metallica fan? He started to answer that, but is there one person in his life that he credits solely for turning him on to the band?
Yeah, otra vez, más o menos, ¿cuál fue la razón por la que te metiste a Metallica? Y si hay alguna persona que le debes esa razón, que pudieras decir, esa es la persona que me introdujo a Metallica. Mi tío. His uncle. His uncle. Mi tío. Por él empecé también a tocar la guitarra. Me lleva 12 años y cuando era chico siempre estaba con él. Siempre estaba escuchando Metallica, AC/DC. Eso fue antes del DVD? Antes. So before his dad gave him the DVD, his uncle also played guitar, and he was always listening to Metallica. So he got to listen to Metallica, then.
Alrighty.
And then, like his dad sealed the deal with the DVD.
I work at a slaughterhouse. It's called Cargill. I pretty much I take meat off cows all day.
Do you have one person in your life that you solely credit for turning you on to the band, or how did you come about being a Metallica fan?
It's crazy. When I was in middle school, kids in middle school that would go to my same school, my same classes, I would hear the non-stop just noise bumping out of the earbuds, just doing. It was just, and yeah, I'll admit, I was a critter at first. I was, what is that? What are they listening to? But I just listened to the first Kill 'Em All album, man, and in high school, mind you, this was sophomore year, 10th grade.
Okay.
10th grade, I just listened to it, and I remember myself playing that repeat again button because I needed to listen to it again. And I took that into the gym. I took that in from the gym. I took it into work. From work, I took it into the sports, and it grew on me.
Okay.
It grew on me, and it will never leave.
We come from all walks of life as Metallica fans. What do you do for a living?
I work at the same place as my dad.
Okay.
So I'm ex-army, and I came out of the forces, and then I started at a company that does high-level window cleaning, abseiling. I think you call it rappelling, or I ended up being the operations director, and now I've just retired. So,
and you do
So
the same stuff?
Yeah, I got Emily a job.
Okay, so you're done with school?
Yeah.
Is there one person in your life, I think we know your answer, but answer it anyway, that you credit with turning you on to the band in the first place?
Yeah, well, my best friend here.
But how did you come in to be a Metallica fan?
To be honest, I just heard them on the radio, and that was it. I started listening to them, but not just Metallica, Iron Maiden. I kind of listened to all them bands. But
is Metallica your favorite band? Because you guys are from England, Maiden, Sabbath.
They're my favourite.
I wouldn't say they're my favourite, no. I do like them, I really like them, but I think Iron Maiden for me is my favourite.
Yeah, a lot of the guys I talk to from England, Metallica's number 2, and I understand it.
Yeah.
Maiden's got it going on too. We come from all walks of life as Metallica fans.
Absolutely.
What do you do now for a living?
I'm in sales and managerial.
Okay.
So I sell industrial equipment.
Who turned you on to the band in the first place? How did you ultimately become
Metallica fan?
Metallica fan.
When I was like a sophomore in high school, I started hanging out with the so-called rebels, and that's how I got into Metallica. I was already listening to AC/DC and the Pink Floyds and the Led Zeppelins of the world, but it just took it to an uber level, you know?
I lived on a little island off the coast of Miami called Key Biscayne. It was like an island prison for a fucking kid. And my next door neighbor had an older brother who would bump Metallica all day. Asked him, what is that? Started giving me tapes. And from there, it was history. You know, just was hooked from day one.
We come from all walks of life as Metallica fans. What do you do for a living?
I am a medical laboratory technologist, and I work in a medical hospital laboratory.
Who turned you on to Metallica in the first place?
You know, I don't even know who it was. We were just in a group, and I remember hearing the first part of Kill 'Em All, and it was one of those really literal whiplash moments because I was like, what was that? And I never kind of looked back since then.
Final thing, and I'll leave you guys alone. If the band members themselves should ever happen to see this in the future, do you have a message for one or all of them?
I would say just how appreciative I am that all the things they do for the fans. Like we were talking about that earlier, just the way they package everything. With the album, you get download cards, you get all that stuff. There's all the opportunities to do the VIP packages where it's just really cool. I really appreciate that they make all that stuff available to us.
Yeah, awesome. I agree with everything you just said. Absolutely. So many people, talk about, oh, it's too much. It's like, compare it to the rest of the world, and I think we're getting a hell of a deal.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
I would say thank you for everything. Obviously, I could go on and on, but for me, their music, it was something I could listen to or use as an outlet as opposed to other things like drugs or anything like that when I had some low times in my life. I've always felt the best thing about Metallica music is it doesn't matter if you're happy, sad, angry, depressed. Every time I listen to it, it always gets me in a better mood. So I just want to say thank you for everything. We'll be rocking till the day I die.
Final thing, and I'll leave you alone. Well, there's two things. What is that you're smoking or drinking? What is that, a pipe or is that a drink? Tell us about that.
Dos cosas antes de que termine la entrevista. ¿Quiere saber él qué es esto?
Sí.
Y por qué lo estás tomando de esa manera y con ese tipo de fajita.
¿Quieres explicarle más o menos cómo es?
Pues yo no soy experto, pero...
el mate es como un té.
Ajá.
Se le pone la yerba, que son las hojas, no sé si quiere.
So mate is like Argentinian tea. It comes from Argentina and
sí, Uruguay,
Brasil,
Paraguay.
South America. It's very popular over there. You don't use a filter or like tea bags. You just put the herb in the mate. This is called the mate, the whole thing. And you have a little pipe. There's got some incisions at the bottom, and that filters out the water.
Yeah.
You take it you just fill it up with the herb, and then just add hot water and start drinking out of that. That's it.
Well, that's interesting. When I walked out, I was joking when I said, "What are you smoking?" But a couple people said, "It looks like Edgar's over there smoking a pipe." Yeah.
But it's a stronger. It's a bitter as well. And the cool thing is that you can just keep on adding water at once, and over and
Right
over.
on. That's one of the greatness of this whole Metallica experience. You see the regional stuff,
Yeah.
So, final thing, and I'll leave you alone. If Metallica themselves should happen to see this, do you have a personal message for one or all of them?
Si por alguna razón Metallica llegara a ver este mensaje, ¿tienes algún mensaje para ellos o alguno de ellos?
Sí, tendría que pensarlo y escribirlo.
Algo pequeño que le quieras decir. Porque te están viendo, digamos.
Sí, sí, ya sé, pero no se me ocurre.
He says he really has to
pensarlo mucho.
He has to really think about it because he's got a lot of things to say, and nothing comes to mind right now.
Serían muchas cosas.
It's a lot of things. Yeah.
That's a good answer, actually.
A lot of things.
Alrighty, well that's it. Thank you very much. Muchas gracias. Did I say that right?
Yeah.
All right, let me zoom in on this.
Yeah, follow Lords of Summer.
That's awesome. If the band members themselves should happen to see this at some point in time, do you have a personal message for any or all of them? Kind of a deep question. And it doesn't have to be deep.
It doesn't have to be. Yeah, I would honestly give them my thanks. I would give them my thanks. Nothing but thanks for what they've created, for what they've done, for the endless of hours they put in a room to create music, for not just myself, but for many thousands and millions of fans to understand and love. But yeah, I would honestly just tell them thank you.
If the band members themselves should happen to see this, do you have a message for one or all of them?
I wouldn't even know what to say.
You can tell James you love him.
I love you, James.
There you go.
Mine would be one day I'd like her to do a meet and greet. So if I can make that happen, one day.
Alrighty. You've seen him in the States before. What do you think of the Texas area?
We love it.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah, we've been here a few days. We've you know.
Well, we're staying in Dallas.
Staying in Dallas.
So we've driven up from Dallas.
Yeah.
Alrighty.
I love Texas. Like it.
If the band members themselves should happen to see this, you got anything to say to them?
Yeah, thank you for all the inspiration. I realize we're all a lot more grown up. We have families. I realize we all have more responsibilities. But once upon a time, there was a philosophy that you instilled in me and on millions of people that will never be forgotten. Think of that.
I already know the answer to this, but some people might think this guy looks a little familiar. Have you been in an episode before?
I have. Grand Forks, North Dakota.
What happened?
Wind, man. I brought the wind with me. And the mic was just blowing the entire day.
So if you guys can hear me, the reason we're doing this again is he got canceled out. But he's such a good guy, we might have him again before it's over.
Yeah.
But anyway, how about a final question? I'll leave you alone. If the band members themselves should happen to see this, do you have a message for them?
Again, guys, thank you. You guys have made life-changing music, not just for me, but for everybody who's behind and around.
That was your answer the last time, and I love your answer. That's what it's all about right there.
It's the truth, man. I mean, all these people are here because of the art, the energy, the work you guys have put out there, and we love you guys for it, man.
MetFam, is that just catchy words? Is that cliche, or is that real?
MetFamily's real, 100%. I have met people on this tour and previous tours that are my friends for life. We will always share this experience. We'll always look back. We'll talk about, oh man, you remember the show we went to 5 years ago, whatever. And always looking forward to the next one, doing traveling plans together, splitting Airbnb houses, riding from show to show together. But yeah, Metallica family's 100% real, and we're welcoming everyone to the family. So come on out to the shows and have a great time.
Final question, I'll leave you alone.
Okay.
If the band members themselves should happen to see this, do you have a message for them?
Okay, so like I've only been thinking of this answer for like forever, but and it's so cliche, but I would have to just say thank you because Metallica's been through my highest times and my lowest times, and all I can say is thank you.
Hey, that might be cliche, but that's the best answer I hear over and over.